Okay, so we actually have prepared two tasks for you for tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're a little bit behind in schedule, so the bad news is that we skipped my topic, which is really a pity for myself, you know. I like to hear myself talking for hours. I could listen to myself for hours. Nonetheless, I would like just to give you a short idea of what we had in mind, because we are asking you also for some feedback after these 3 days. So, one idea we had, and what we want to ask you for, is to actually develop also that equity strategy within our program here, within our workshop. So, to give you a short idea about the questions that we have here. For those who are not from business, this is my favorite slide. I always say this is, for those who don't study business, if you study this slide, you know everything. You can forget about it. It's basically, you know, others study 4 years. If you just look at this slide, it's actually sufficient. Yeah. But yeah, the law people here are saying, oh, it's really that simple? Maybe I should switch. Okay, what do we see here? We actually see a balance sheet, and the balance sheet consists of two sides. The right side is where money actually comes from. So somebody who puts money into the company, and we're saying these are shareholders, and shareholders, they invest equity capital, and there are creditors who invest debt capital or liabilities. These can be short-term or long-term. The company itself, as long as it has some kind of legal form, is actually just a financial intermediary. They're investing their money into assets, in machinery, buildings, and the task is actually to produce something, produce it and sell it. So what we see here on the on the left side, the assets can be fixed assets. Typically, this describes like the buildings, the factory. I knew it. The buildings, machinery, etc. And then we have current assets. This is basically the inventory, the materials, can be also credits to customers, and all kind of liquidity, cash. So, I mean, we have seen that in our business game already. Liquidity is, of course, an issue. How much money do we have? What can we do with the money? And you always need some kind of money. When we're talking about a strategy for debt and equity, it is about how can we finance actually the growth of our business. Now, we started now with the first round. You're still working on that. And of course, maybe, hopefully, our long-term perspective is to actually grow. But we can only grow if we get the financing for it. The question is, what kind of financing do we prefer? What are the advantages for equity? What are the advantages for debt capital? And to make a long story short, because unfortunately, I told you already, equity capital is typically seen as more expensive. It has a higher, what we call, cost of equity. Why that? Because equity is the money of the shareholders. They typically bear a higher risk for their investment, and they expect a certain compensation for the risk. You might call it a risk premium. Creditors, a bank, for example, who's giving a loan, has a lower risk. So they basically expect a lower return. Why is the risk a little bit lower? Because they have typically a contract with a company or with you as a private person saying, okay, you have to pay a certain interest rate. We have seen that for short-term and long-term, with 5% for long-term, 8% for short-term, and this is fixed. And then it has a time to maturity. So after 7 years, 1 year, 8 years, we have to pay the money back. What does that mean for the bank, for the creditor? Okay, I know exactly the cash flows that I can expect. When we talk about equity, it's not that clear, because the compensation is depending on the profitability, on the profit of the company, and dividend payments they are paid. So these might go up, might go down. You never know how much you really get. And when it comes to time to maturity, when do I get my money back as a shareholder? When do I get my money back from the company? After how many years? See, it's a good question. It depends. Are you in my classes today? It's the standard answer that always fits, you know. In my classes, it always fits. Yeah, it depends.
Well, always.
Yeah, also, yes. Yeah, it's good. So it's. I didn't know that. Lois also said that. There's no time to maturity. Actually, you never get your money back as a shareholder. When you invest in a company as an owner, you never get your money back from the company. The only thing how to get your money back is by selling your share of the company to somebody else. But obviously, when you sell it to somebody else, it depends on the market price that you receive. You know? It's not like in a credit that you receive the nominal value back. You might get more or less. You know? And all that describes the extra risk that you're facing as a shareholder, and therefore you need some kind, or you expect some kind of a risk premium. So that was the idea, that we are asking you for a strategy, because obviously it's not so clear whether credits are better or equity is better for the company. Equity capital you don't have to pay back. Well, the shareholders expect a higher return, but you're not forced to pay it. No? If you are not profitable, you don't pay dividends, so no problem. If you have credits, you need to make the interest payment. So there are always two sides of the medal, and that would have been the task for you guys to develop a certain strategy, involving maybe also ideas of green financing, which you might have had to study more in detail. Unfortunately, I say it again, we don't have the time tomorrow, so there's nothing about that. I'm pretty sure you would have loved it, but unfortunately it doesn't work. And now I hand over to my colleagues, Claudia Stachel and Anka Reich. And Gabriele, you're also joining? And now you have to start listening.
You have to start listening. Unfortunately, I need notes.
We are correcting the mistakes, right?
Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So, as you already know, my name is Anka Reich, and I'm a professor of business law at the Nottingham-Geislingen University. So, business law, the students who study business law, they focus primarily on law and a bit lesser on economics. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's just an excuse now, right?
So our project Beyond deals with EU law. So therefore, I would like to begin with a short refresher on EU legislation. We have students here who major in business, who major in law, or who major in business law. Therefore, a short refresher so that we are all on the same page. So, you already know primary EU law. You know this. These are the EU treaties, Treaty on the European Union and the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union. And then we have the secondary EU law. Can anyone tell me the difference between a directive and a regulation, maybe?
Hopefully my students.
What's the difference between a directive and a regulation?
Well, I think the directive has to be translated into national law.
Yeah, this is correct. It has to be transposed into national law. And the regulation, in contrast, then, oops, that's wrong. It's directly applicable. Yeah, no transposition is needed, and it's immediately binding. That's also a difference. Yeah, and the directive we need the national transposition. International. Okay. So over the years, the EU has created a great body and legislation. So maybe you have heard about the omnibus legislation. Can anybody tell me something about omnibus? Omnibus legislation, EU omnibus legislation? Okay. So this legislation aims to reduce bureaucracy and to roll back certain requirements connected to the Green Deal, the EU Green Deal and other ESG-related topics. Green Deal is something familiar with you? To reduce the carbon in the air, in the atmosphere, so our temperature won't climb up and climb and climb. Okay. The Omnibus 1 package, for example, addresses selected obligations under the CSRD, the Corporate Sustainable Reporting Directive. Maybe you've heard about this. And also the CSDDD. That's the Corporate Sustainable Due Diligence Directive. So this is the Omnibus package 1. Right now, the European Parliament has currently voted in favor of easing reporting requirements. You've heard in the media, maybe. So, and now we have the trilogue. So the Parliament, the Commission, and also the EU Council, they are in discussions, trilogue, and they try to find a compromise whether the easing of the reporting should remain as they decided on. If the new threshold are adopted, the number of companies affected by the CSRD and CSDDD, they will be reduced significantly. So, what does this mean? No reporting issues? However, do you think there will be so much change with regard to the reporting? Do you think this? No? Then you are correct, because the large businesses, the banks, or also the public sector contractors, they will continue to require transparent ESG information. So they will anyway, they ask the companies to provide those information. Even if the legal obligation lessens, the market expectations, they will remain. Furthermore, the number of companies that voluntarily implement a sustainability strategy is growing steadily worldwide. They do this because, why do companies implement a sustainability strategy? What do you think?
It is imposed by the law?
Yeah, but if the law lessens the obligations, why do they implement this strategy anyway?
Maybe some benefits.
Some benefits?
They receive some compensations.
Maybe this. But firstly, they recognize their own responsibility for social, as a company, for social, environmental, and governance matters. And secondly, they feel responsible for the future generations. This is you and your children. And, not to forget, sustainable products, they see this as an USP. They can sell more because society will be interested in more products, ESG products. So, one example. For 25 years, UN Global Compact has been one of the central voluntary initiatives in this field. It is based on CEO voluntary commitments to implement universal sustainability goals and has members of from 162 states. Yeah? Big businesses, non-profit organizations, small businesses. This is an excerpt, and you can see there are some of the members who are seated in Spain. And you can see this, so it's, I also have something, it's a civil society organization, it's small and medium-sized enterprise, but also, you can't see this, but also companies, banks, and these are all members of the Global Compact. So, they followed 10 principles, implemented these principles in their sustainability strategy, and those 10 principles derive from Universal Declaration of Human Rights, from the International Labour Organization's Declaration on Fundamental Principles and Rights at Work, the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, and the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. Corruption is a big issue with regard to sustainability. We have heard in the last weeks corruption in Ukraine. Have you heard about this through the media? So this is an issue. Whenever you have money or companies who want to develop, corruption is a very big issue. Corruption is clear? What's next? Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's talk a moment about human rights. Don't worry, I only will elaborate a bit about human rights. So, we all talk about human rights, but often do we know what is meant by human rights? Maybe not. So, on the 10th of December, the General Assembly of the United Nations, they adopted and proclaimed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So, this was the foundation of the modern international human rights protection. And this was shortly after the Second World War. And it was only feasible to create something like this, to come to a resolution, to a compromise, because it was shortly after the Second World War, and we all know that what happened in the Second World War was terrible, and therefore the states could agree on these human rights. The guiding idea behind these human rights was simple, but also powerful. Never again. Never again something what happened during the Second World War. We all know about this, what happened there. As I said, this was the foundation of the modern human rights protection. And there's a most famous sentence. It begins, maybe you know this, the most famous sentence of the Human Rights Declaration. Does anybody know it? All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. And this declaration grants every individual rights that are recognized under international law. This means if a state today claims that another state violates human rights, this is no longer considered as an unlawful interference with internal affairs. Human rights are universal. And this is a big change. Yeah? So the declaration itself was not legally binding, it was only a declaration. Thus, we needed legally binding international conventions. And two of the most important conventions about human rights are the International Convention on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, or the Social Convention of December 1966, and the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, Civil Covenant, also 1966. This is the right to life, prohibition of torture, protection from arbitrary arrest or detention. These are only examples. Maybe you have heard about Amnesty International. They base their activities on the International Covenant. So, in addition, a large number of other human rights conventions exist. Today you will find reference to some of these conventions in the annexes of European regulations and directives. You will find this in the annexes. For example, this is an example of the CSDDD. There we have the convention, legally binding, against forced labor, or the minimum age convention, when are children allowed to work, or the worst forms of child labor convention. These are only examples, and you will find this in the annexes of these European regulations or directives. Okay? So, there's an example with regard to environment, the Minamata Convention regarding mercury waste, or the Stockholm Convention regarding the POPs, the chemicals which won't are difficult for the nature. Okay, some may say, okay, paper is patient, we see this all the time, what happened in the world, we know important leaders, world leaders who act differently. However, my answer would be, what would we do without this moral compass? It's like a moral compass, so we know where are the limits. Humanity needs normative guidelines, I would say, just as every company needs clear goals. It's the same, to define in which direction we want to move. So see it as a compass. All the ESG topics are a compass for our businesses, for our acting in society. So with this background in mind, you are now a member of SHOAT, in the management team. And with this in mind, I hand over to my colleague, because now you get some more information about the ESG issue SHOAT has to deal with.
So that's a surprise, but I just try and find the rest.
SHOAT is a family-owned company, and the family feels a strong responsibility to pursue a sustainability strategy. Yeah? Even though they are not obliged to do so.
I just
Yeah.
Okay, so you already know the business, and yeah, it's a small but ambitious business, as you know, and it's based in Germany and has subsidiaries in Italy and Spain. Your company is doing well, and it's not stopping there.
Well, I don't know. So far.
hopefully, but I see a very good chance even for group number 4.
No, yes.
And now you have a new product idea. You're not just using plastic for manufacture of your glasses. You are using now tropical wood because it's a very interesting material, has natural colors and a competitive price. But as you could imagine, there might be some problems around them using tropical woods. And because you want to be sustainable but with style and a very good design. And you want the company to be known for ESG-friendly products like environment, social and governance aspects. And sounds great, but there might be some challenges, and I give you just a very quick overview about the legal challenges. So, so the first legal challenge is now glasses made from wood, tropical wood, and the question is here, what kind of European Union legislation do you have to take into consideration if you want to do that in an ESG-friendly manner? Next topic is you want to cut costs and you are looking for new suppliers and you want to source lenses from China. It could be much cheaper, but the question is, how do you find a trustworthy supplier without compromising compliance or sustainability issues, and see if there are as well legal aspects you have to take into consideration. There is law. The question is that law applicable to your company since it's small? But if not, you are just deciding to be compliant with those laws, even if you are not just forced to do that, just offering high quality and sustainable products. And next topic is you are offering a virtual try-on. As you can imagine, if you buy your glasses online, you just would not order them because you don't know how it fits you. So you are doing a virtual try-on with a fitting tool that is using artificial intelligence and just giving you suggestions which glasses would look best on you. And question is, are there any legal aspects you have to take into consideration if you want to do that? Then you have just to do research what kind of legal aspects would be relevant, see if you have to apply them or not, but you try to do your best to be compliant with those rules if there are any rules.
Ali, you will get these tasks.
Yes,
Yeah,
you get.
we send
Yes,
it to you, so
yes.
you don't have to write them down.
And then there is now a new eco-design regulation which is coming up. There are no specific rules yet, but you want to be just ahead of your competitors and trying your best to have a proactive strategy, to be just before your competitors will start that, and see what kind of challenges you will face if you want to implement the issues you have to keep into consideration with the new eco-design regulation, which is not valid at the time being. Just see what kind of strategy could you apply to that. And the last topic is marketing and greenwashing. As you already had made the experience, marketing is very important to increase your growth. You want to use claims like eco-friendly, carbon neutral, or made from sustainable woods. You want to make sure that there aren't any legal risk or that it's you are compliant with the rules applying to that. And then you have to find out if there are any European Union laws on that, if you want to use such green claims. And we have 4 groups and 5 topics, so we have one more topic than it's necessary. So you can just choose your topic, but it would be good if you just, if every group would take another topic so that we get some information on any of those topics. So again, just give you the overview again. So the first one was using tropical woods and regarding using the wood from the tropical forest, what kind of challenges you might face here. Next one is suppliers and legal challenges. Next one is the virtual try-on with artificial intelligence and you are using personal data of people. Next one is eco-design regulation. And the last one was marketing and greenwashing. And as you see in our program tomorrow, you have lots of time to prepare a strategy, and then you are giving a presentation to the supervisory board of your company and telling them what kind of legal aspects are applicable to your business idea, what kind of challenges you face. It's coming in the slides.
These are the photo and
Yes.
photo.
It's that one. Yes, so you list then the most important legal provisions according to your case, and then what proposal will you submit to the supervisory board? Supervisory board of the company might be Anka, Andreas, Gabriela, and me, and we would.
And whoever is here, you know.
Yeah, and
You never
whoever
know.
we're going
In
to
a
find.
smaller circle, the supervisory board is a protected room, to say.
Yes, so it's not in the plenum, it's just in a smaller circle, and so we are giving you a feedback if it's if we are convinced or not, and for that you are getting as well kind of evaluation, and it's just influencing your result and the business game, how you are doing with those sustainability aspects, and just for you to see what we expect. The quality of the summary of the relevant European Union laws. So did you get the main ideas of that laws? Then, correct application to the facts of the case, stating if it's applicable, if you are bound by law to those provisions or not. And if not, you are going to implement them on a voluntary basis. And then the clarity and structure of your presentations, so easily to understand and clear structure. And then we might ask you some follow-up questions and see if you understood what you just presented. And then just the research process. Please tell us, how did you find the relevant laws and your results? So just asking ChatGPT and it prepared everything for you. If the result is good, why not? But we would just want to know how you did the research on that. Perhaps on other sources as well. And just think about that as well. And that is the assessment, and it will just influence the basic results about 30%.
In both directions. Better or worse?
Is that your
Yes. And so, do we have a slide about the day number 3? Okay, just to yes. So that is
Group 4 is hoping for.
So that is day 2, the presentation to the supervisory board, and on day 3 there is a final presentation to shareholders at the general meeting, discharge of the board of directors. That means you are repeating what you told to the supervisory board, perhaps have a little reflection because we gave you a feedback, perhaps you would just do something else or something differently, and then you would just give us an overall information what were your main decisions in the business simulation game. So on what did you put your focus on, how did you get the success in your group in the business simulation game, just the main ideas. So final presentation means just tell us how did you take your main decisions in the business simulation game and the main aspects of your sustainability strategy regarding legal topics. Are there any questions? Or did I miss anything? No.
So maybe for the second presentation, it might be useful to have already notes done while you're preparing now. So maybe your strategy is changing over time, so just keep track of that so that you can present it on Thursday.
Yeah, and tomorrow, since we have lots of time, the decision period will prolong, as you know, and we are all in a meeting. But some of us will just come and will support you, because then you are going to do a research what kind of law is applicable, and then we discuss that, and then you are focusing on the right law, and then we are going to support you a little bit, Gabriela and everyone. And we have some law students here who would support you as well. At least your group.
One or two, you know.
About
about the research process, I just would like to remind that ChatGPT makes mistakes. So
Yes, yes.
Have at least to check.
So use perplexity. Yes, thank you. Are there questions?
Now you can choose.
How long is the presentation tomorrow?
Very good idea. Question.
Because when we do the presentation at 1, I don't know what the lunchtime is.
So there is a lunchtime. I think that 2 o'clock might be lunchtime.
2 o'clock is lunchtime.
So that would mean 15 minutes per
Yes, so not more than.
So maybe 10 minutes so that you can get feedback.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
So and we see here again the topics, and it would be good if you just choose one and discuss who is doing which. So obviously we don't have to elect.
What is your preference?
So each group would select one topic.
And keep in mind, I mean, in the business world, it's really like that. If you stop earlier, no one is really angry with you. Yeah? It never happened to me at a member of the board said, "Oh, could you talk 5 minutes more?" So it's an art to be short and getting to the point.
Topic 2. Topic costs music live.
So it's group 1.
Two.
Group 2. Sorry.
Topic 5, marketing and greenwashing is topic group 1.
Group 1, topic 5.
Yes. Yeah. What group 4?
3.
3 is tech, means fashion, virtual private.
Topic 3. It's very interesting, that one.
Yeah, sure.
So there's one group left. What would you like?
Which topic first?
So the written classes.
So topic 1 and
Topic 1.
4.
I understood that already wooden classes exist, but maybe not for tropical wood.
It's your choice. You're the
And topic 4 is as well.
It's on you. Which was, I don't know. I need a coin.
You need research. We don't expect that you are experts in
No,
these.
it must be great if you're the only person who is from law in the group.
So which one would you like?
Can we do 4?
Yeah. 4?
Okay, 4.
4.
So group 4 is doing topic number 4.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
You're ill tomorrow, right?
Are you sure? We were too slowly next time we have to scream.
When did you choose 4?
Sorry?
When did you choose topic 4?
Yeah.
What? Number 4?
I don't know what happened about.
Also wollt ihr alle diskutieren? Andreas?
I don't understand really what
Okay, so number 1 is like in
Ich würde auch eher mit den Fragen gerne.
Yes.
like number 4 I don't ESG maybe, something like that.
So we can
was
Okay, so actually, we are done for today. We were just checking, wondering if someone is from Madrid is here, but I think there's no one here.